my name's Lauren, and I'm one of the co-hosts of this podcast, and you are listening to the first ever episode of Social Workers on Fire. So I am a licensed master social worker and also the case manager for our program, and we are social workers with the fire department. And so I have here with me today Brianna, who is our coordinator and also my co-host.
Hey guys! So, like Lauren said, my name is Brianna Jones, and I am also a licensed master social worker and the coordinator for EMS prevention.
So, Brianna, you're a licensed master social worker, and we all know there's a million things social workers can do for employment. So, tell us, how did you end up here?
Okay, so it's actually a very interesting story. So I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2013 in social work, and but prior to graduation, I had to apply for a field placement, which is basically an internship. And so, as I was filling out my application, I specifically listed for them to please not place me in any type of medical field internship. I didn't care where they put me at that point because I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. But I knew I did not want to do anything in the medical field, or at least I thought. And so, lo and behold, I get the email saying, "Congratulations, you have been placed with the Watley Health Services." And so I get online and I'm Googling what Watley Health Services is, and I learned that it's a federally qualified health center that serves the uninsured and underinsured. And so here I am placed right in the middle of a medical facility, and I'm thinking, who did this to me? Because this is not what I wanted at all. It was actually the one request that I did not want. So later on, I found out that God is the one that did this to me. And so, of course, He is always right in His plan. But I digress. So I intern at Watley, and I actually really enjoy it. I was working with the Healthcare for the Homeless program, and I worked with case management, and I got to see a lot of different aspects about what their facility offers. And at the end of my internship, the CEO of the company actually came to my desk like my last week, and she said, "We are getting a position at one of our satellite clinics for a social worker, and I was wondering if that's something that you'd be interested in." And so at the time, I'm like, wow, this is an awesome opportunity. And so I, tell her, yes, absolutely. And so apply for the job, and I get the job, and I end up working for Watley for roughly 5 years. But through that, I think it was like 3 years in, I decided to go back and get my master's degree. And so I'm getting to the end of my master's degree, and I have to apply for another field placement. And so I apply, and I get an email that says, "Congratulations, you have been placed with Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue for your internship." And again, I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, what am I going to be doing at the fire department? Okay, this kind of sounds cool, but it's strange. So, I go in to learn more about it, and I felt like it was an awesome opportunity, so I accepted. So therefore, I was a student for the EMS prevention program back in 2017. And so I interned with the fire department and learned a lot about what they were working to do. They had a really innovative idea for a program to have social workers in the fire department. And so at the time, there was no social worker on staff, so we just shadowed paramedics, and we got to do a lot of cool things like ride on the fire truck and ride out to emergency calls. And so I really, really enjoyed my time at the fire department in this program. And but sadly, it came to an end. So I went back to work at Watley, and I think maybe a year or so passed. And I remember whenever I left my internship with the fire department, I told my mom, I said, if they ever open up a position and this becomes something that's not a pilot program anymore, I would love that job. Like, I really feel like that would be my dream job because it was just so cool. The way that we were able to follow up with the clients and I just thought it was just an awesome experience. And so, about a year later after I graduated, I'm browsing online for jobs, and I happened to see an open position for a social worker with the fire department. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is this what I interned for? And so I do some research and find out that it is. And so I applied for the job and got the job, and that was in 2018. And so I have been here ever since.
Okay, so you've told us how you got here, but I think you left out an important part. So go on and tell them.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. While I was an intern, I told my mom that this would be my dream job, but I also remember one weekend hanging out with my best friend, and I was single at the time, so I told her, I honestly wouldn't mind marrying a firefighter, and not that I had a crush on anybody that I was working with, but their kindness was just so attractive because they treated all of their patients like they were just walking into the grandma's house and just coming to visit grandma. It's just like, hey, how you doing? Tell us what's going on. And so I just thought that they were just the sweetest people in the world. And so I was telling my best friend, I wouldn't mind marrying a firefighter one day. And so, full disclosure, since Lauren's calling me out, I am now married to a firefighter. But for any code of ethics sticklers, it was not a work romance. He was actually at a different department when we met, but he does now work for Tuscaloosa Fire. So we are employees together now. Okay, Lauren. So now that you've made me spill my tea and tell about myself, it's your turn.
So, like I said, I'm the case manager for this program. But before I got here, I graduated with my master's in social work in 2019. And I had interned before that at DHR, which is Child Protective Services here in Alabama. And so I got hired on with them after my internship as well, just like you did at Ma Whatley. And I worked in the foster care unit. So I worked with children and families and relatives to reunite kids. Or if that wasn't possible, then I worked and did adoptions. Tuscaloosa is kind of smaller, so the foster care worker does all of it. You do the adoptions and you do the reunifications. So, and I did that for almost 3 years. But anyone that works in Child Protective Services, then the hours are long. And it is rewarding. I love the job, but I had my second child and I was ready to just be home more. And so I just did a little search as well and found this job saying social worker for the fire department. And I'm like, what? And so I'm reading the description and I'm like, this sounds so cool. And it sounds a lot like what I'm doing now in terms of meeting with clients in the home. And so I was like, all right, like let's just apply. Let's see what happens. And so I come to the interview, ask the questions, and I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. This is different, and I want to be a part of this. And so thankfully I was offered the job. And so I have been here for now 2 years, and I am loving it.
Okay, Lauren. So since you made me share something personal, now it's your turn.
Spoiler alert, my husband is not a firefighter. Sorry to disappoint. But I did leave foster care and a few months later started the process of becoming a foster parent. So clearly I couldn't leave it completely. But as of the end of this month, we have been foster parents for 1 year and we have had 12 different placements. So it's
so awesome.
A very interesting ride and a lot of fun. And now I get the best of both worlds. So.
Yes. Okay. So we've both kind of teased about what we do, but I'm sure you all are wondering, why does the fire department have social workers?
And well, I guess you're just going to have to tune in for the next episode to find out. Oh, by the way, Happy Social Work Month!